Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. The Lord's glorious acts and His acceptance of various transcendental forms for the performance of extraordinary pastimes in the mortal world are very difficult for anyone other than His devotees to understand. And for the beasts, they are simply a mental disturbance. Purport. Transcendental forms and pastimes of the Lord are described in Bhagavad Gita, are very difficult subject matters for those who are not devotees to understand. The Lord never reveals Himself to persons like Jnanis and Yogis, and there are others who, because of they are envying the Lord, envying the Lord form. The bottom of the bottom of their hearts are classified amongst the beasts, and for such envious beasts, the subject matter of the Lord's appearance and disappearance is simply a mental disturbance. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.15, the miscreants who are simply concerned with the material enjoyment, who work very hard like beasts of burden, can hardly know the personality of Godhead at any stage due to asurika bhava, or the spirit of revolt against the Supreme Lord. The transcendental bodily expansions manifested by the Lord for His pastimes in the mortal world, and the appearance and disappearance of such transcendental expansions are difficult subject matters, and those who are not devotees are advised not to discuss the Lord's appearance and disappearance, lest they commit further offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord. The more they discuss the transcendental appearance and disappearance of the Lord in the Asuric spirit, the more they enter into the darkest region of hell, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 16:20. Anyone who is against the transcendental loving service of the Lord, more or less a beastly creature, and as confirmed in the verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. In this verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchukalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtitya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Nihanyasam cha tasyevam dhiranam dharyavardhanam anyesham dushkarataram pashunam viklavatmanam. The Lord's glorious acts and His appearance of various transcendental forms for the performance of extraordinary pastimes in the mortal world are very difficult for anyone other than His devotees to understand. And for the beasts, they are simply a mental disturbance. Hare Krishna. I need to apologize to your devotees. I wasn't really preparing for the lecture, but I really hope that by the mercy of Vaishnavas we will be able to say something about this topic. So I will definitely need your help. So here we see that is a very important point was stated here, that only devotees, they are the ones who can understand the pastimes of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada, and as how to say, opposite to that, it's Asurika Bhava is described, or the mood of the demons, because demons is a special category of people who actually they are inimical to the Lord and offensive to the Lord. Most of the people, they are innocent. They don't have any opinion. Most of the people are agnostics, actually. They're kind of, yeah, maybe he exists, maybe he doesn't exist. Who knows? If he exists, then better not be very offensive. If he doesn't exist, no problem. So most of people are like that, because deep in their heart they feel that something is wrong with this material world, and deep in their heart they feel that there should be some spiritual energy that will nourish my heart and cover my need for the spiritual realization, because everyone feel it inside. Everyone kind of have this craving for the spiritual knowledge, but there are some group of people that cause asuras, and here Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is stating that this group of people, they are like animal, right? So, and the same Krishna is saying, Asuram bhavam ashritaha. Those who are asuras, they don't have any intelligence, and they are not better than animals. So, why is like that? Because this kind of living is dedicated to cover basic needs, and right, I'm just eating, drinking, sleeping, mating, and defending, and those who are disturbing me to do that, they are my enemies. And God is definitely the one who is disturbing. Because any holy book you take, what's the first thing holy book will tell you? Any kind of suggestions? Yeah. But before speaking about God, what will any holy book will take? Moral. And you need to regulate yourself. You need to control your senses. That's what this book will tell you, right? You need to take care of yourself. And the understanding of devotees, how to take care of ourselves, and understanding of asuras is very different. For asuras, we live one time, and that's basically it. Like you live this life, party, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's basically it, and you die. Nothing after that. And you see, Srila Prabhupada said that actually these kind of beastly creatures, they're actually booking themselves a warm place in the hellish regions of this universe by this kind of attitude. Because this kind of attitude is very offensive. And you see, there is raga and dvesha. And when we are fanatics, right, we want everyone to become devotees. We come to our parents' home and throw out all the meat out of the refrigerator, and telling everyone that they're in Maya, and see that everyone is doing something wrong in Krishna consciousness. Only I'm the one who is doing everything right. And although I'm doing everything right, somehow I cannot even wake up in the morning, and I'm in total tamagun. But definitely everyone around is not qualified. This is fanatic. This is total neophyte mood. So this is raga and is attachment, fanatical attachment to something. And then there is the same. Then there is another side of the same coin, which is dvesha, is to be totally inimical, anemical, right? Yeah. So it's to say, wow, this God, and start to become offensive. And this offensive mood is very dangerous, and therefore one of the offenses of the holy name is to not preach to people who doesn't have faith in holy name, because they can become offensive. We go out, probably you will have question. So why do we go out on the streets and chanting holy name? Yeah, we give people opportunity to hear holy name, because Madhura Madhuramita Mangala Mangalanam Sakala Nigamavali Shatpalam Chit Svarūpam Satikrida Pit Parigitam Shradaya Helayava Brigura Varan Naramatram Tarayet Krishna Nama. So this verse is saying the person who will hear holy name, he can have Shraddha or Hela. So Hela means hellish attitude, is basically being not respectful to holy name, and even kind of saying, this Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, and being very little bit offensive and teasing devotees by hearing holy name. So this verse saying, Briguvara Naramatra, O son of Brigu, Nara Matra, if person will hear holy name, even Nara Matra. Matra is basically one moment. It's a very, very short piece of time, if you can say like that. And Tarayet Krishna Nama. Krishna Nama will do what? Tarayet. It will liberate this kind of person. So what does it mean? We didn't so that we go out on the street, people might dance with us, people might not, people might be offensive. I got attacked a couple of times by this crazy person playing flute there on the street. So how is these people got liberated? We didn't saw them being liberated. Yeah, so liberation is something that can be stretched in time. So these people heard holy name, and they had seed planted in their hearts, and basically they got all the punya, all the piety to actually become liberated soul. So in the beginning, it means that the course of life of this person already will go in a different way. The planets will act like that this person would eventually come to realization of God. Maybe not this life. Maybe he will need some other life to realize that. But the course of his life will go in different way. Like I have one person whom I knew before Krishna consciousness. He was very, very inimical to God. He was peeing on churches. He was like, I don't know why he had this animosity. This is the word. Why he was like that. He was always like very, very offensive. I remember we were teenagers and he didn't like animals very much. and then he didn't like God. He was just naturally a person like that. Maybe some trauma in childhood. And then after some time, he was selling drugs or something, so they put him in jail. And at the same time, you can see he was kind of pious person, very beautiful, looking nice, and he had money and everything. But at some point, he did this mistake, and they put him in jail for some years, I don't know, 3 or 5 or something like that. And then there in jail, he did one thing right. He accepted that he did things wrong. So it humbled him a little bit. And now you can see his Facebook, he's somewhere in Bali and really preaching people about God. Oh no, he's in Arab Emirates and preaching people about God and that God is one and it turned him around. So sometimes we need this shake. Sometimes we need this shake from Krishna or his devotees that to change our Asurika bhava. And that's why you see, it said they are prepared, hellish planets are prepared for these people. Why is like that? Is Krishna so cruel? No, actually, hellish planets is a good place because it purifies our consciousness through the suffering. Because we need purification. And suffering is something that is changing our mind. So we see there's a purpose behind this creation. This creation is meant for us to understand that this place is not meant for the spirit soul to reside in. It's not a place to live here. And therefore suffering is something that will always change your mood from the Asurika bhava to the humble mood. To Trinada Pisu Nichina. That actually I'm not controller. Because in Bhagavad Gita described what was the verse when Asuras are speaking? Ishvara Mahambogi. I am Ishvara. I am the controller. Aham Bhogi. I am the enjoyer. Siddhaham. I am perfect. Balavan Sukhi. I am very powerful person. So this is Asurika bhava. The Asuras there like that. I am enjoyer, I am controller, I am perfect, I am the most powerful. And this material world again and again will remind us it is not like that. You're just small tiny part and parcel of God. And He's Siddha, He's perfect, He's controller, He's the most powerful. And once you will rely on Him, once you will just bow down like this. There was this song, bow down, Mr. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Who was singing it? Boy George. So just bow down, Mister. That's what material world again and again will remind us. And as soon as we do, immediately the course of our life go different way. And then what Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam tells, then this ability to understand the transcendental pastimes of the Lord will be available for us. It is closed for the people who doesn't have faith. Faith is something that's required, right? So, and there is a stages of developing our faith and something that we need to do consciously. So more faith we have, more Krishna Lila is available for us. It becomes, and more experience of reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and chanting the holy name becomes deeper and more alive. Holy name start to reciprocate with us. We start to have more spiritual realizations and more spiritual thoughts and more during our chanting of the holy name. And more spiritual experience, more our heart becomes soft and melted. And this kind of heart, Krishna would like to enter, right? He doesn't want to sit on the throne like in Game of Thrones, like made of swords. And then again and again we try to cut Krishna, like with all kinds of anarthas. No, he doesn't want this kind of throne. Srila Prabhupada is there is a quote from Srila Prabhupada where he's saying, while chanting the holy name, we need to put Krishna on the lotus of our heart. So our heart needs to become like a lotus, pure like lotus. So what is the quality of lotus? Is that any kind of dirt we spill on him, on the lotus, then it will not be stick. In water, you put water on the lotus, also it will not be stick. Lotus is pure by itself. So it have this quality of purity, right? So our heart also need to become purified by the process of sadhana and regulating ourselves. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. Rakshishyatiti vishvaso goptitve varnam tatha. So anukulyasya sankalpa is again coming back to our understanding of self-care and understanding of asuras. Right? Our understanding of self-care is to accept everything that is good for our Krishna consciousness and reject everything that is not nice. Right? Because we know if I will eat meat, I will not be able to understand Krishna. I will not be able to, my consciousness will be polluted. Right? If I will do illicit sex or I will do all kinds of drugs, it will harm me, my consciousness, my body. So I don't want to do it. So I reject everything what is unfavorable for my Krishna consciousness. Is it self-care? Definitely, 100%. I care for myself like that. At the same time, going back to Godhead, doing steps to that. And then accept everything what is favorable. And you can see, I'm chanting japa. Is it favorable for me? Even on physical level, it's favorable for me. You can see people in old age, many of devotees nowadays, Aida Mataji and some other devotees that are working in old man houses, right? And they say that people already after 60, their brain doesn't work properly. They have dementia, like heavy. Really, then 60 years old, 70 years old, it's already like, person is almost finished. Why? Because watching TV all day, right? They doesn't use their brain at all. It's just melting there in the box of their head. And you see devotees. I remember when I came to Krishna consciousness, Mataji Kaishori is an American devotee. She joined me when she was 14 years old. Prabhupada still was on this planet, but she didn't manage to take initiation from Prabhupada because she had school exams at that time. And Prabhupada left her after a couple of years, and so she was taking care of many female Prabhupada's disciples when they were leaving their body. And she said, I never saw even one devotee living unconsciously, in unconscious state. All of them were very conscious until the last moment of their life. And when she was asking them, what about pain? Is it painful? They were like, what are you talking about? This is a secondary thing. No, it's not the main thing. So you see devotees that are living in a very, very conscious state. And that's what we want, right? And therefore devotee prepare himself. And so devotees, they are chanting japa, they are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And this practice is actually, even on physical plane, is making their brain clear. Right? So anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam is definitely self-care, opposing to surikamav. Then rakshishyatiti vishvaso, believing that only Krishna is the one who will protect me. Therefore, devotee, he becomes fearless. Srila Prabhupada's name was Abhay, and initiated name Abhay Charanaravinda. They say, therefore we say AC Bhaktivedanta, because Abhay Charanaravinda is his initiated name, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So he was fearless. And Srila Prabhupada said, when there was a Second World War and they were throwing the rockets on Calcutta, he was saying, I saw this rocket and I was thinking, that's Krishna. This rocket is Krishna. I saw Krishna in this rocket. So that's what because what? Because the real devotee, he knows that only Krishna, he will protect me. He's the only protection. Although we know that we need to act, is everything depends on us, and but think of ourselves that everything depends on Krishna only. Yeah. And then, of course, Goptritve Varnam Tatha, and Krishna is my Gopa. He's my cowherd, and I'm his cow. He's the one who is. He's the one who is have already path ready for me to come back to Godhead. So I don't need to worry about that. I do just everything that it depends on me, and I understand Krishna will take care. Krishna is the one who will take care of me. Krishna takes care. Like that. So this is mood of devotee. In this mood, we will be able to understand Lila and listening about Krishna. In this, and we will, because faith is required. Even scientists, they have faith. Without faith, they will not be able to just move on with their science. So without proper development of faith, which is Shastriya Shraddha, so there is two kind of Shraddhas, two kind of types of faiths. First is Laukika Shraddha, which is mundane faith, right? Like oftentimes we know some traditions where if person can heal someone from some disease, then he's a saintly person, right? He's not doctor, he's a saintly person. And or if someone can take some dust from their sleeve or some other objects, then this person considered to be saintly. So this is Laukika Shraddha. If person have some CDs, he can do some tricks, then person is considered to be saintly person. This is Laukika Shraddha, completely mundane, based on some mundane understanding of what means to be saintly or believe in God or who is God. You know, oftentimes it's just mixed with all kinds of things, like going around hugging trees and things like that. And then there is Shastriya Shraddha. So Shastriya Shraddha is our faith based on Shastra, based on scriptures. And this Shraddha brings us to Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochana, that we will see this world through the prism of love of God. Because Shastra, Bhakti Shastra is teaching us Bhakti, teaching us how to love God from the level 0 to level eternity. Like that. So I think I will finish here. And dear devotees, if you have some questions or comments, I would really like to hear that from you.
I was wondering in the beginning, with chanting the holy name, somehow you mentioned the offenses, but at the same time I was also hearing that while chanting the holy name itself will purify. So where is that balance where we can feel safe, that even if we are not qualified we will not make offenses, but we do it with a right attitude?
Yeah, it will definitely purify if there will be no offenses. The offenses is something that is preventing the holy name to purify our heart. Cheto darpana marjanam. So, first effect of holy name, that our chitta, our consciousness, should be purified. The mirror of our consciousness. So, if mirror is dusty, you cannot see your reflection there. You cannot see your soul, right? Your true reflection. So therefore, to realize ourselves as a soul, we should purify our heart. And it's like a byproduct, actually, of just sincere and attentive chanting of the holy name. And if there is no offenses, then this effect will take place. If there are offenses, then it will be very hard for us. So you see, all of these offenses, they are about what? They are about attitude, developing right attitude. First offense is what? to blaspheme devotees. So what is the opposite of that? To praise, to glorify, to serve devotees, right? Of the Lord, to admire them. Right? So this is a certain attitude. So I need to, I should be, I should kind of be aware. I shouldn't blaspheme devotees because they are very dear to Krishna, and my progress depends on them. And at the same time, I should, develop my good relationships, good attitude towards devotees. So it's about attitude, right? And so on and so forth. It's about our philosophical understanding and about certain attitude. So when right attitude is there will be no offenses, right? And if attitude is wrong by itself, then offenses will take place automatically. And therefore, we need to be educated in how to chant holy name without offenses. Or we should be educated, and then offenses will go away automatically because there will be a right kind of attitude will be developed. And therefore it is said you need to be humble, right? Because when you are humble, you are not learning, and you don't want to change yourself. You have this still asuric bhava, your hand doesn't change. So when you are humble enough, you're able to change yourself because your false ego not pushing you away so much from this change of your heart, right? So to be humble is not actually to not be, to be humble. It's interesting thing. It's just actually accept the will of Krishna, right? Arjuna also was humble by going on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and killing everyone around. But it took him some humility to understand why should I do that, right? And but at the same time, for us, it doesn't mean that I'm humble that everyone around goes and they just act mean with us, and I'm like accepting all that, and I don't have any self-respect or anything like that. No, to be humble is actually just to accept the will of Krishna, and I understand. If I want to understand Krishna, I need to be humble, because what is the verse? Tadvidi pranipatana pariprashnana sevaya upadakshyanti te gyanam gyanina statva darshana. If I want to tadvidi pranipatana, so I accept vidhi, I accept this rules and regulation. Pranipatana, I bow down. Pranipat, I bow down to my spiritual master or spiritual guide, let's say like that. Pariprashnana, I'm asking questions. Sevaya, I'm serving this person. Upadakshyanti te gyanam. And if I do it in this very humble mood, I will have Gyaninas tattva darshinaha. So I will not only get knowledge, jnana, I will have tattva darshinaha. I will have darshan, or how you translate the word darshan. I will have meeting. Seeing. So tattva darshan, it means seeing of reality. Reality will be revealed to me. All the transcendental philosophy should be revealed. And actually, all the scriptures and all the Vedic knowledge calls darshan. Again, darshan is when, for example, you come to see saintly person, it calls darshan. Or when you see the deities, it calls darshan, right? Again, it's from the word seeing, but actually it's when the person standing near in front of you, right? So to understand spiritual knowledge is not just to acquire some information. This knowledge should be revealed to us. So if we want this knowledge to be revealed to us, we need to develop certain qualities and certain attitude towards devotees, towards holy name, towards Krishna, towards the scriptures. like that. And when all these things come together, then there is darshan. And this tattva darshan bring us to Krishna darshan eventually. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. I was also just wondering, like, when is it safe, let's say, to introduce some, let's say, beginner to Mahamantra, to find this, because sometimes I feel it feels natural to tell about it to someone who is, let's say, interested in spirituality, but then at the same time this possible offense, I was just wondering.
So the question is, when is the time to introduce beginners to Mahamantra? The time is now. Always good. Always good. So again, when we hear about these offenses, right? It's two groups of people. It's first group is asuras, so they are not beginner any beginner spiritual. They're just inimical people. So you don't come to them and don't preach to them. You're just keeping away from them, and that's how you respect these people. And and the second group of people is devotees. Actually, they can be even not beginner devotees, right? Who know that offenses are not good, but still doing them, right? And the beginners, they are usually innocent people. So when you are doing these things completely innocently, then it doesn't count so much. When you have knowledge about things, then you are responsible. Of course, if we see that beginner person is offending devotees, we should tell them, don't do it. But usually they don't do, because they're not asuras. Asuras, they're who are offending people without any, like consideration of who is this people and what is their background or anything like that. They are usually, the beginners, they usually don't act like that. So it's always good to introduce people to Hare Krishna mantra. If there is any sincerity is there, it's wonderful. Yeah. Yes.
I think it's also important to point out that this ninth offense against the holy name is that one should not preach the glories of the holy name to those who are faithless. It doesn't mean that you cannot not induce them to chant. That's not that.
Yeah, so Lalitan's Prabhu's point that ninth offense is to preach glories of the holy name, but it doesn't mean that we cannot preach holy name to them. We cannot give them holy name.
We don't get into details talking about how the holy name is not different from Krishna, and how by chanting the holy name you revive your eternal Svarūpa. Don't get into that. Just but even just inducing someone, saying this is you become happy. Try.
Yeah, chant and be happy. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. So we don't. Lalitan Prabhu said that we don't go into details about holy name is not different from Krishna and for so on and so forth. And like Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam says here, right? Those people who doesn't have faith, they are not able to understand Krishna Lila. For example, we don't go to new people and say them about Varahadev or Kurmadev or God, he what? Or Radha Krishna, yes. So we don't go and say, God actually is a blue boy, or God revealed himself as a half lion, half man, or God he came as a boar. That would be crazy for them, right? Because they don't have faith. For them it's very hard to understand, right? These kind of things. So yeah, it's an important thing. We don't preach glories like that to the new people. But we want them to get in contact with Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, with Bhagavad Gita, in contact with holy name, like that. And this contact will give them experience, and experience will give them faith. Yeah, thank you. I think it's a very valuable comment. Yeah. Amir Prabhu. Okay.
Give us as an example, feasting and drugs and sex and rock and roll and like that. But of course, as I said, sense enjoyment in complete ignorance. So, I mean, there's also finer forms of sense enjoyment, which are also assured. Should avoid it. There is, of course, that's a Greek philosopher. Was Epicure? You know. Anyway, he was basically atheist, and his philosophy was something like Charmak-Muni's, enjoy. But his enjoyment was, was very refined. Actually, you should get your own garden, and you should, cultivate like mode of goodness and nature, peace, and like that.
Yeah, hedonistic.
It's still hedonistic.
Yeah. Yeah, so you see, enjoyment can be in a mode of goodness. And it is described in Ramayana that Ravana, he was never eating something that he already tried. So his leftovers of his food. So if he was biting samosa, he wouldn't bite second half because it's already leftovers of my food. And so it was one of the things, it's kind of, you can call it austerity, or what is that? He was doing demoniac austerity. Or Ravana, he was very beautiful. He knew how to make yagyas. And even demigods was inviting Ravana to heavenly planets to make yagyas. So he knew Shastra. He was a very beautiful person. So beautiful that actually wives of demigods, they were running away with him. So he was big sense enjoyer, but he was not as tamasic as we sometimes imagine demons are, right? And so he was definitely very rajasic, but also mode of goodness was there. So even demons can be, can have all these opulences that demigods are thriving for. And demigods are considered to be kind of in mode of goodness. Kind of. Yeah.
Once ISKCON painted a picture of Hiranyakashipu, I think, with a big pipe or a cigar or something like that. You heard about that example?
No, I didn't.
And then it was presented to Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada said, no, that's not correct. Hiranyakashipu was a non-smoker. So it's funny, because this is not even enjoyment.
Yeah.
This tamasic enjoyment by, drugs and
this is direct self-harm.
It's not even, it's just torture, basically.
It is, definitely. As a smoker, previously, I can tell you that it is just harming you, nothing enjoyment. I remember at some point I was just crying, holding this cigarette and thinking, why do I do it? I cannot, am I just a lump of meat that I cannot stop doing that? And I was still smoking and crying. It was a horrible experience. Yeah, it's just so tamasic. Yeah. So even in mode of goodness, you can still have this asuric bhava. Even as we read from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, from Rupa Goswami, right? We read that even being very austere and having very pure heart, you can still be atheist. So because austerity is purifying your heart, but it makes it hard as a rock if you are not softening it with Krishna Bhakti. So devoid of Krishna Bhakti even can have this quality of austerity and like that. And many yogis, they are doing austerities, but they are doing it just to develop siddhis and enjoying very different way, right? Because this kind of enjoyment is available for them in this kind of states of consciousness like that. So you see, at the same time, the one quality of bhakti, she's what is the Sanskrit word? What is the Sanskrit word? That she's not dependent on anything. That she's not dependent on karma, jnana, and jnana. She's there is a word for that. That she's independent, anyways. So Bhakti Devi, energy of Bhakti is independent. It can come to you no matter what, right? No matter what kind of heart you have, because there is a. Should we wait or what? We will have our prarabdha karma. So there is prarabdha karma and aprarabdha karma, and so basically, if we have our birth and we have our qualities with which we are already born. If we are kshatriyas, we will not become brahmanas, or if we are shudras, we will not become brahmanas, and like that. So we can develop some qualities, but we are who we are. So this is already kind of steady situation. So what does it mean that if we are shudras, like many other sampradayas, they're telling you, okay, this life if you will be good shudra, next life you will be good vaishya, then next life you will be good kshatriya, and next life if you will be good kshatriya, you become brahmana, and if you will become brahmana, then you will be able to come back to Godhead. And this is a classical Vedic way, usually, how it was done. But Bhakti is svatantra. She's independent, actually. So she is not dependent on your varna or your asura or not asura. Because you see, like, the Ravana's brother, what was his name? Vibhishana. Yeah, he was a great devotee of Lord Ram at the same time. So Bhakti is not dependent on our material designations. Not at all. So, therefore, we want to cultivate bhakti. We don't want to just cultivate mode of goodness for developing mode of goodness. Because these things are very helpful. And they are very much needed for us. But by itself is not bhakti. We shouldn't misunderstand it. Like that. Yeah. Any more comments, questions? No? Thank you so much. Granth Raja Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande.